why does your brain scare you?
Okay, let's just get right into it. Have you ever noticed this weird thing where everything in your life is actually okay? Like there are no real problems to solve, but your mind still finds a way to scare you?
You know how it starts, right? It's always those late nights. Your mind is just racing, replaying every single tiny detail of the day. And from there, it just jumps straight to imagining the absolute worst case scenario for every single little thing. Until you're completely tangled up in fears that, let's be honest, probably won't even happen. If any of this sounds familiar, I promise, you are not alone. Because the real problem isn't out there. Nope, it starts right inside your own mind. So why does this even happen? Well, it turns out your mind has a kind of secret mission. We all like to think that our brain's main job is to make us happy, right? But that's actually not its primary function, not even close. You see, after millions of years of evolution, your brain has one core mission: survival. That's it, just keeping you alive. Happiness? Well, that's just a nice bonus, not the main goal.
I love this analogy. Think of it this way. Your mind isn't really your friend, it's your bodyguard. And just like any really good bodyguard, it is constantly on high alert for danger. It doesn't care if that danger is real or just something it imagined. In fact, scientists have a name for this. They call the brain an anticipation machine. Its most important job is to constantly try and predict the future, all to protect you from any potential harm. And this right here is exactly where that dreaded overthinking loop begins. So your bodyguard brain starts scanning the future for threats, and it starts firing off all these questions. What if this happens? But what if that happens? And before you know it, you're trapped in this endless loop of what ifs. And it's that relentless cycle that actually generates the feeling of anxiety. And here's the real kicker, the absolute core of the problem. Your mind gets stuck on the very things you have zero control over. Outcomes you can't know, events you can't predict, situations you can't possibly control. This isn't productive problem solving, it's just unproductive worry. There's no solution to find, which is why it only leads to exhaustion. So, when that worry gets cranked up to 100, it turns into anxiety. But what is anxiety really? Well, at its core, it's basically a false alarm. Let me show you how anxiety tricks you. So imagine your heart starts beating just a little bit faster, which is a totally normal physical feeling, by the way. But your brain flags it as a threat, and then, bam, the thought pops into your head, I'm having a heart attack. Of course, that thought makes your heart beat even faster, which makes the physical symptoms worse, and suddenly your fear starts to feel 100% real. It's an absolutely vicious cycle. And this brings us to probably the most important takeaway of this whole thing. Anxiety isn't the danger itself. It is the illusion of danger. It's your bodyguard sounding a massive, blaring false alarm because it thinks the meow of a cat is a burglar breaking into your house. Okay, so let's get into the brain's second big trick. I like to call it the negativity glitch. Have you ever wondered why you can get 10 amazing positive comments, but it's that one nasty negative comment that you just can't stop thinking about for the rest of the day? Well, there's a name for that. It's called the negativity bias. Our brains are literally hardwired to give way more weight to negative information than positive stuff. And it's actually a survival feature. Think about it. For our ancestors, failing to notice one single predator was way more dangerous than missing out on 10 potential meals. So our brains naturally default to negative thoughts, what experts in cognitive behavioral therapy call negative automatic thoughts, or NETs for short. But here's a really important shift in how we look at this. If you overthink a lot, it absolutely does not mean you're weak. Overthinking isn't a weakness at all. In fact, it's often a sign of a highly sensitive and intelligent mind. It just means your brain is powerful enough to see more complex patterns and possibilities, and that is precisely why it finds more things to worry about. And that leads us to the single most powerful idea in this entire breakdown. There is a huge, massive difference between what you think and what is actually true. You have to remember this. Write it down if you need to. Your thoughts are not your truth. They are just signals. Signals from your overprotective bodyguard brain. They're opinions, maybe, but they are not facts. So what does that mean? It means you don't have to fight these thoughts. Just observe them. Notice a thought has arrived without judging it. Then remind yourself, oh, that's just a signal from my bodyguard. And then just let it pass, kind of like a cloud floating by in the sky.
You really don't have to react to every single signal your brain sends you. And listen, one final and really crucial note here. This is all about awareness. If anxiety and worry are genuinely disrupting your daily life, please know that seeking professional help is a huge sign of strength, not weakness.
Okay, now I really want to hear from you. What is the one thing you tend to overthink the most? Drop it in the comments below. If this was relatable or helpful at all, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe, because in our next breakdown, we are going to dive into exactly how to calm that overthinking mind. And just always remember this: your mind is not your enemy. It's your protector. It's just a really overprotective one that's taking its job a little too seriously.